Hey, I'm Jay, and I have something to say about some Kickstarter updates. So we've got a bunch of Kickstarters coming this spring. First up, Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers Dueslair. Right now they're just shipping the core sets and stretch goals. They don't have all of the add-on sets or expansion sets boxed yet for shipping, but people are starting to receive them. So we're starting to see some models. Zoom in on here. You can see there's a Sea and Thunder expansion there, 2 core set boxes, 3 core set boxes, 3 stretch goals boxes, 3 super stretch goals boxes. So you can see basically for buying the core set plus 1, you're getting basically double the amount of plastic. Obviously you're paying for that when you pay for a Kickstarter, but Archon Studios has the best stretch goals in Kickstarter in my opinion, and it's getting harder and harder to get trustworthy Kickstarters, so Archon is one that I can say they have delivered fantastic and have good customer service every single time, and I will back projects that I would not otherwise be interested, like their caves. Some people on their Discord are starting to assemble models. So this Yeti, the Barbarian's from an older Woodhaven set, the Yeti's new, that character in the middle is from a previous set, the person with the dragon on their back is new, again old set, the little goblin's new. So the dark gray stuff in there is new, the light gray stuff is old. Here's a close-up on that lady with the dragon on her back, or fire drake, I guess technically. This one looks a little confusing, but I think when you get it painted it'll be fine. That little arm on her waist is the dragon's hind leg, and her arm is the one up high holding the fiery ball. So I think once it gets painted with contrasting colors and you can separate the drake from the lady, it'll look better. This person put the Displacer Beast Rider on their fire drake. And then we got a surprise that you actually get 2 Roblin the Goblins. Instead of just alternate heads, you get two full goblins. So a couple extras. Owlbear was the early follower or returning backer, I'm not sure which. The instructions say to put all 3 on one base, but I think this is a good idea. So that's coming soon. Here's the Kickstarter update with a picture of stacks and stacks of boxes at their factory. Again, they don't have all the expansion sets boxed. It looks like they don't have White Eyes Dune, which is the desert mummy beetle theme one, or the Armies of Dueslair, which are like the demons, which I have both. Here's some pre-painted examples. So this guy's one of the, is that the Scarecrow? I think this guy's one of the bosses from the Armies of Dueslair. I think these Icy Elf and Transparent stuff, I think that's either from the core set or the stretch goals. Big Flame Skull. That's I'm probably going to paint that early because I like their translucence and just doing a kind of a wash over top of them. And the Dragon Turtle. I actually like the Reaper Dragon Turtle better than either this sculpt or the Steamforged Games Epic Encounter sculpt. So I'll probably be selling this one on eBay. I think it'll go for at least 30 bucks. The dragons go for like 25, 30, so I think the Dragon Turtle will go for 30. Their next Kickstarter, Archon's next Kickstarter, are going to be pre-painted. I don't think these rocks really show it off because it's just gray, but their legacy stuff, their cottages, go and look up Archon Studios live stream Ask Me Anything sessions. They have a whole bunch of pre-painted samples of them just testing out their painting process. It's a UV ink process that can handle far enough distance to fit the thick materials inside of the machine, as opposed to like something that can only print on paper that has to be very close and wouldn't be able to handle the difference in heights. So you can see some reddish tint and some brownish tint on here on the dark gray sprue plastic, and you can see some yellow highlights in some of the stones there, some little bits. So, and you can actually see in the back top here, you can see a little bit of a legacy set that has like a green tinted stone. So I think it looks really impressive. It obviously costs significantly more than the unpainted stuff, But if you're comparing it to like WizKids Warlock tiles, this is a pretty good option coming up. So I'm excited to see what they do with it in the future. I don't know, because you can't quite get the sides of it. You can't get 360 degrees around it. You can basically only shoot from one direction. I'm not sure if it'll make sense for models. What's this one called? Next Level Miniatures Encounters. They're ready to ship. That was a surprise. It was like last update they were like 75% done. This update they're done. Like, they banged out the last 2 Kickstarters real fast, and they're already getting ready to relaunch their first Kickstarter with the larger scale. I don't know if you remember, their first Next Level Miniatures Dragon Horde Volume 1 had the true 28mm, and everybody complained about everything being so shrimpy. So they upscaled everything, so they're going to do another Kickstarter to relaunch that line. I mean, basically they have to make all the molds from scratch, and it's like at least $300 per model for a mold out of the rubber, which is, you know, significantly less expensive than this stuff that's like thousands of dollars for a metal mold. $300 for a rubber mold is a lot better, but they're pumping this stuff out. They're also, if you look at their web store, they are selling, it's not Cyborg Miniatures, but there's a really good sculptor that's commissioned them to produce the models in ScioRes. So if you go look at Next Level Miniatures web store, Reaper. Reaper had this add-on for an apprentice dragon. So there's a mage sitting down on the ground, a lady sitting down on the ground, and talking to a dragon. Apparently this is the same dragon as the Kid Heroes. And I have it on authority from a old Reaper message board post from the sculptor, Christine Van Patten, that their names are Lilith is the lady and Shadowthorn is the dragon. So anyhow, this is the model of what it was supposed to look like. And, you know, if she's like 30mm, that's a pretty sizable dragon for 20 bucks. This is a shot of the production sample, and it was so small. This happened back in December. The production sample was so small they rebated everybody $10, whether you got the unpainted or the pre-painted. And Reaper's dabbling in pre-painted. So they rebated everybody $10. I don't know if you can really tell from that overhead shot, but maybe you can tell from this shot. So it's a little bit, you know, the girl's a little closer to the dragon, the stone's a little smaller. I'm not really sure if the dragon looks that much smaller than the render. But the stone that the dragon's sitting on sure looks smaller. So they rebated everybody $10. That was $10 I used to buy an extra add-on of paint or pillars, or I don't remember what. Or got whatever my very last order was like $35 instead of $45 for my add-on. These are other production samples for the, you can see the big alligator Egyptian god here next to Sir Forescale, and the Egg of the Phoenix Fire Drake in the clear translucent orange plastic. It's washed out because of the studio lights for their live stream. And Bast, the cat goddess, here. So you can see how large they are. The plinths are basically the size of a 28mm model, and then they're like 75mm on top of the plinth. So those are large and in charge avatars of the Egyptian gods. I think they're going to be in full production like after Chinese New Year, so probably another 2 weeks to a month before they do production, and then we probably got to wait 30 days for a boat. So it'll probably be like the end of April when they start fulfilling. So this is the production pre-painted apprentice. This is not a artist painted. This is the Chinese factory painted version. Again, it's a little washed out from the studio lights, but it's kind of an intense teal on the wings on a black, you know, a blackish dragon. You know, the woman and the rocks could stand a wash. The woman's kind of flat colors, but the dragon looks pretty nice. It wasn't worth double the price for me, so I got the unpainted version. But compared to WizKids, 30 bucks for a pre-painted large dragon isn't too bad. So those are all coming out. Let's see. Broken Anvil Forged, they put out a couple updates that made it look like they were actually doing something. It looked like they actually got paints in, so they should be fulfilling paint. But again, I haven't actually seen, I'm not sure where the pictures are from because I haven't seen any updates that said they started shipping anything. So I'm confused with that. Their CEO, Chris, took a trip to Europe to get trained on mold making. It's the Siocast factory or somebody that does Siocast over there. I'm sure he didn't pay for that out of pocket. I'm sure that came out of company funds. So that seems a little frivolous. And Balcklist Games keeps getting PU samples, like 2 at a time every 3 months. So I don't know how that's working out. Like if I was the Chinese factory there, I'd be like, you're just done. Like you got to pay for my time or whatever. But they're still doing updates, so maybe in the next 10 years we'll see that. And those are my Kickstarter updates. I'm gonna have so many models from these 2 Kickstarters. The Reaper one is the most I've ever spent on a Kickstarter, and I didn't even get one of everything. So I think I'm done with Kickstarters for a year or so. But we'll have plenty of models to go through.